Welcome to another one-on-one sports webcast. I'm Hannah Berg, and I'm joined by Alex Sharon and Steve Roth. With the Stanley Cup playoffs starting this week, everybody has their eyes on the ice. Much like the recent NCAA basketball tournament, the NHL playoff always has upsets. Guys, which highly seeded team do you think is vulnerable this time?
You want me to start?
Go ahead.
Let me start this one off. We're going to go with the 3-6 in the Eastern Conference, and that is that I think Buffalo is a high seed that doesn't really deserve that third seed. I know that they set up the divisions where, if you win your division, you're automatically a 1, 2, or 3 seed. I think Boston has a chance against Buffalo. The reason is because they have a goalie named Tuukka Rask, and this guy has played unbelievably. 1.97 goals against average, 930 save percentage this regular season. And I think that Buffalo has, they have a few guys that are banged up. Tim Connolly, Drew Stafford, Patrick Coletta. They got a few guys banged up, and I know they have Ryan Miller. He's very good, but I really think that Boston certainly has a chance.
Yeah, I see what you're saying with that. The Bruins, yeah, they really are that one, or not the Bruins. The Sabres are that one-man team with Ryan Miller, but I don't see Boston really producing any offense against them. They are a weak team. Could come back to haunt them in the later rounds. But for the first round and for really the entire playoffs, I'm going to the Western Conference. I'm going to go with the Chicago Blackhawks. They're a great offensive team. They're just stacked on offense, really unfair. But it's also kind of unfair to them that they have no defense whatsoever. Cristobal Huet, their other goalie,
Antti Niemi,
they're not good at all. They can't stop anything. They're just not a playoff team. Yeah, they're still young. They still got years. This is not their year.
I can agree with you and disagree with you there. Not anything too bad. You're doing fine so far. Their goalies, I think they've done pretty good. I think Antti Niemi is going to be their guy in the playoffs. I think they play pretty good and they do have depth on the offense. But yeah, that's not one of my teams. We'll get there in a second. But I would have to say that Chicago's. I don't think they're an upset team early, but maybe later on.
No. I still don't think that they'll lose in the first round, but overall, I think they're the worst highest seed.
Okay.
I have to say, guys, I agree with Steve with the Sabres. They have Ryan Miller, and he's a good goalie. He has the record of 41-18, but their high scorer only has 28 goals. And, I mean, that's decent, but that's not really good enough. And they don't have a strong offense, so that's what I think. And this one's easy. Which team do you think will take home the West and East Coast conferences?
Mind if I start on this? First, I'm going to go to the West, which I think is the hardest division to predict. A lot of these teams could actually come out, but I'm going to have to go with the Vancouver Canucks. Top to bottom, they're my best team by far. The Sedin brothers are just phenomenal, with Henrik being the top points leader right now, and you got Ryan Kessler on that same line who's blistering fast. He's unbelievable. And they've got Roberto Luongo, who's phenomenal. We've seen all their players play phenomenally from top to bottom, offensive, defensive. They're the complete team.
I gotta completely agree with you. Henrik Sedin, 83 assists this year. That is phenomenal. Leads the league in that, and of course he's got the points. So doing great. They got 6 25 or more goals scorers. They have a lot of depth on offense there. And when you got, say, the Sedin brothers together, that's just scary. They're second in the NHL in goals scored behind only the Capitals. So I would definitely say that Vancouver would be the team to beat in the West. I think they'll take home the title there.
Just saying real quick, I think they'll have a hard first game, but I think as long as they get the first round out of the way, they're golden for the finals.
Now, we should probably mention the other teams, San Jose and Chicago. The West is very, very tough. I think this is the hardest pick here. I would say if it's not Vancouver, and I'm picking Vancouver, but I would probably take San Jose. They have Evgeny Nabokov, very good. Then they got guys like Danny Heatley and Patrick Marleau, who are superstars in goal scoring, and Joe Thornton feeding them the puck. I think they're great, but I just think that the depth for Vancouver is a little stronger. Mm-hmm. And you have to pick one or the other. I'm going with Vancouver.
And just like you said, it's a tough conference, and never count out the Detroit Red Wings in the playoffs. That's their time.
Certainly. Now I guess we can go to the East.
East
That's
Coast.
okay. I'm really scared to hear what you have to say, Alex. Why don't you go first? Because I got a feeling I know who it's going to be.
I want to see your argument, though, against the Capitals, because that's who's winning. Tell me how
else?
I
much.
agree.
Surprise. Okay, well, you know what? Everyone likes secrets. Let me let you on a little secret here. In the last 6 years, only one time has the top team in the league, the President's Trophy winning team, gone to the Stanley Cup. Once in the last 6 years. The Washington Capitals are this year's President's Trophy winning team. However, I honestly think that it will be the Pittsburgh Penguins.
No.
Hold on, I'm a believer of you beat the best to become the best, okay?
You also have to have beaten the best, which they haven't
In the
done.
regular season, I will give you that. But if you ask any Penguins fan, they'll tell you this. In the playoffs, a guy named Marc-Andre Fleury steps up to the task.
You ask any
and they
Capitals
can do
fan,
it.
they'll tell you about a little guy
They'll
named
tell you what?
Alexander Ovechkin.
No, you know what
who
else
is
they'll tell you? They'll tell you that they just found out who their goalie's going to be today. They just announced
it does
that
not
it's going to
matter.
be Jose Theodore. They just announced that.
It doesn't matter who the goalie for the Penguins are going to be, because Ovechkin, Semin, Green, everyone on that team can score.
No doubt
Everyone
they
from
have
top to bottom scores.
Okay, no doubt they have a good offense. And
Great
they have,
offense.
And they have pretty good depth up front. They got about 4 or 5 players that are really
When
good.
was the last time the Penguins
But-
beat
Hold
the
on,
Capitals?
hold on.
I want to know.
The Washington Capitals, just so you know, are 19-3-2 against their own division. Their division that they've been playing all year, beating up on, that division is borderline awful.
Do they have to play any of those
Other
teams?
than those Washington,
Do
don't.
they have to
But
play
just so
any of
you
those
know,
teams?
The second place team in that division is 10th in the conference. They didn't even get close to 35, 34, and 13 Atlanta Thrashers. That team, when they play these guys, what is that, 24 games in the season? That's going to up your record
Okay,
and your
Steve,
standings.
I'm going to throw out a little number for you also. May 13th, 2009, last time the Penguins beat the Capitals.
I understand that, okay? And I understand in the regular season the Penguins haven't done real great, but you ask Marc-Andre Fleury, who stepped up big time in the last few years in the playoffs. He didn't even have an amazing last year in the playoffs. He still won the Stanley Cup. He had a much better season 2 years ago in the playoffs. This team, I really don't think, when you have, there's 3 things that make the NHL go. It's depth in scoring, superstars in scoring, and goalie. Penguins got all 3. They're going to do it.
Well, we're going to have to disagree with you on that one, but we'll see how it all
Hey, you
pans
got what you
out.
got, but I'll just let you know now the Penguins are going to win.
Real
We'll let
quick,
you
guys, give me what position do you think is the most important for whichever team takes home the trophy this
I'm
year?
going to say it's goalie, because I think in playoffs, by the time you get through, the first 2 rounds, you see that there's a lot of points being scored, but it's the goalies that make the difference.
Yeah, the goalie, you can't really argue against goalie play. You can't have terrible goalie play and still win. But my main thing is experience. You got to have those people who have been there before, have experienced the wins and the losses, and who can get everything done.
I agree. If you look at the Penguins, the Red Wings, the Ducks, they all had great goalies, so we'll see how that goes. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this NHL webcast, but make sure to check out all of our other webcasts as well as our weekly radio and television programs. For Alex Sharon and Steve Roth, I'm Hannah Berg, and until next time, whose side are you on?